Kristen was with Alice's brother Rick, who has an issue. He dislikes air or something because every time you see him in a scene, he's always beating up air. But yeah, it was also, this introduced the fact that Alice could get all the powers of everybody that's been killed prior, like, you know, Rick, Deb, Sheila, Kristen. It starts with Kristen when she dies, but apparently they have her say a line that Kincaid used a lot in the movie. Also in this movie, Freddy did do a possession again, like he did in 2 with Jesse. Only thing, which I forgot to mention in part 2, the other thing is Freddy was in the real world, and usually Freddy's in the dream world. That's why part 2 is not canon to the rest. But, so he possesses Kincaid's dog Jason to bring him back, which he does. It starts out at the beginning where, like, Kristen's in the boiler room, and then she calls Joey and Kincaid, and they're telling her, you know what, you're going to start things up and keep going and blah, 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 blah. Jason, Kincaid's dog, comes out, bites her. Which that right there should have told you the dog was possessed. Then he acts the same way he did when he bit Kristen with Kincaid, right before Kincaid dies. I will say it's got one of my favorite Freddy Krueger lines out of the Nightmare on Elm Street, which is, how's this for a wet dream? Because Joey's dreaming about another naked lady, like he did the naked nurse in part 3. But, dreaming about another naked lady, gets pulled in his waterbed. So that joke works on so many levels, which I'll talk about later when I talk about the remake. As for... Now let's move on to 5, The Dream Child. Oh, by the way, the trilogy with Dream Warrior, Dream Master, Dream Child all starts with 3. But also 3 introduces Amanda Krueger. We also see more of Amanda Krueger in 5. We do not see her in 4, which made no sense to me. But you could have made that the Amanda Krueger trilogy, like you did with Tommy Jarvis and the Thorn trilogy. But, oh well. Anyway, so Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I like this movie, but it is a bad movie. It was the start of the downfall for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. The way it was produced, the way it was written. I mean, this movie was not good in all cylinders. I mean, I still like the movie. Yeah, I kind of like Super Freddy. I like the fact that Alice survives this one, but it's basically her son Jacob that beats Freddy in this. Which, I guess is a lot better than how he got beaten freaking 4 by Alice, but evil shall see itself and it shall die. That was, you know, something I was not expecting to see. But Jacob, all the power Freddy gave him, he spits it back to him, and that's how Freddy turns back to the baby and all that. Jacob also turns back to the baby. And this 5 really focused a lot on Amanda Krueger. I think that was a good thing. They did a little bit of it in 3, but not too much. Like, they explained Freddy's origins, and they did a little more in this. But still, this movie was good enough to watch. Another Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, it's Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. This one, I guess you say is canon and uncanon, because you got the storyline and how he's killed all these kids, but he tries to justify it because he says they took his daughter away from him, which was Catherine, a.k.a. Maggie, from a center. We also get John Doe, who I still try to argue is Jacob. And I even watched that Nightmare on Elm Street special where they talked about they were planning on making John Doe be Jacob. But I guess they changed their mind or whatnot. And I guess the way they set up the timeline in that really wouldn't work too much. Came out in 1990. This one was not really good, but then again, I do like that too. But then again, I love all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And, you know, I love Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween, whether they're good, bad, or not. I love all of them. Except for 5 of Friday the 13th. Well, I don't like 3 too much either, but I'll still watch it. But, so, yeah, Freddy's Dead was supposed to be the final one. And it starts out with Freddy making fun of the witch from Wizard of Oz. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul, too. It also starts with kind of a Twilight Zone vibe type thing. The Twilight Zone movie, they kind of started like that, too, with John and the plane. And, oh, man. It was just Then you also got appearances of Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold in this. Yeah, this movie, and there's not that many kills in this either. Freddy only kills, like, what, 3 people? In all the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies, he killed tons of them. Especially 3, as many as he wiped out in that. Part 2, he wiped out a lot when he took over Jesse's body and came through the window and just wiped them all out. I don't know, I just don't get why they did 6 the way they did. Now, Rachel Talia, who had been a part of the franchise since the first one, is the one that made this, and I guess she thought this was a good idea for a movie. But there's not even that many teenagers in it. You got John, you got Carlos, and what's her freaking name? The other one, fudge. And then you got mostly adults like Maggie and the doc. What's wrong?
I get 20% charge left.
Alright, I'll be done in a sec. I'm getting ready to get the new Nightmare in the remake here in a minute. But, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 6 was not that good. Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street 5, I will be doing a commentary of that tonight on Facebook Live. Out to a New Nightmare. Now, look, this movie's good. I think it's overrated, though. I mean, when I first watched this as a kid, I didn't like it because I was like, well, now they're trying to make the storyline like it's real. Like, we know Freddy's fake and all that. We all know it. It seemed like they were trying to insult our intelligence with the New Nightmare. But, like I've said in the past, I've grown to kind of appreciate a New Nightmare. It's, you know, a good movie. I just don't like how they did the storyline. And yes, it's basically focused. It's pretty much 5, but a better way of making 5. Because yeah, A New Nightmare is better than 5. As much as I love 5, A New Nightmare is better than 5. But I mean, it's pretty much the same premise, except for it's, you know, Heather Langenkamp dealing with real life crises and that, and dealing with someone pranking her, but well, we find out it's really the real Freddy anyway at the end of the movie. Also, Robert Englund makes a couple appearances in this movie as himself, but then he does make his appearance as Freddy, which, like I said, my favorite version of Freddy is A New Nightmare Freddy. I love how he looks. If they ever make a Nightmare on Elm Street game like they did with Friday the 13th, I hope we get a new Nightmare Freddy look, because that was just an awesome look for Freddy. I like the trench coat, I like the hat, I like the new claw, everything. But yeah, it's pretty much, A New Nightmare is pretty much a rehash of 5, except for better. Now to the remake. I believe, what, 2010 it was? Now, I like this movie, it's okay, you know, but the problem is, some of the lines, delivery, like something, like the names of the people are kind of annoy me. You got Tina, blah, 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 you know. Nancy's name's still Nancy. Glenn's not even Glenn in the remake. It's Quentin. And it seems like Clancy Brown was the head pack leader of burning down and killing Freddy in the first one. It also touches on a thing that we've all assumed pretty much in prior Nightmare on Elm Street, that also not only was Freddy killing these kids, he was molesting them as well. I guess that part of the storyline's fine. My problem is, one of the lines he uses is, "How's this for a wet dream?" This is right after we find out he's a child molester. Not only that, he says it to Nancy, and Nancy really wasn't having no wet dreams prior to the frickin' him saying the line. Unlike with Joey in 4, when he's thinking about the naked lady in his bed that was on his poster, and he's trying to touch her, but he can't because it's all an illusion by Freddy. Freddy busts up, kills him. That line worked perfect for that, but the Nightmare on Elm Street remake did not work well for that. So, yeah. That's my view on the rise and fall of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. It really started going downhill after 4. Because 5's not that good, even though I like it. 6, not really good either, even though I like that. New Nightmare, it's good. But the storyline to me is kind of, you know, insulting people's intelligence. And the remake, I think it's decent enough to watch, but it's still not great. But, you know, and this movie started out great with the first 3, and including 4 too, but then it went downhill from there. But that'll do it for this video. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more, follow me on my Facebook fan page, Mr. Topics, follow me on Twitter at Mr. and hold on before I go. Special birthday shout out to my son James, just turned 15 yesterday. Also, a special birthday shout out to my nephew Chris. Happy birthday, James. Happy birthday, Chris. Catch you guys later. Peace out.